A new law signed by podcaster Gavin Newsom in California attempts to hide the identities of bacon-wrapped hot dog vendors from ICE. What's the deal here? Let's get into it. Here we go. Now, I know that I could have said sidewalk vendors, but we've got such a crew of bacon-wrapped hot dog fans and news for reasonable people that I'm just going to go all in with the whole bacon-wrapped hot dog. This is for you guys and gals out there, all right? And we're going to watch a couple of bacon-wrapped hot dog short videos at the end here. New law signed by California's governor attempts to shield the identities of sidewalk vendors from federal immigration enforcement officers. California expands privacy protections as Democrat-led states resist Trump's immigration agenda. Immigrants selling food, flowers, and other merchandise along the sidewalks of California will have new privacy protections intended to keep their identities secret from federal immigration agents. You know what's so crazy is that we've got such a divide in this country. You've got states, you've got California and a bunch in my state here, Washington State and Oregon, just doing their absolute best to thwart law enforcement at the federal level. And then you've got states like Oklahoma and Texas and Florida doing their very best to have their local law enforcement and state law enforcement and county law enforcement work with ICE because they understand that if you get the criminals out from your communities might be a little bit safer. And there's a legal way to come into the country and there's an illegal way. And ICE has always worked on, hey, are you here legally or not? And I know a bunch of the hot dog vendors in California, they're not going to be legal. And that's why there's great concern because I think in this case, reasonable fans, news for reasonable people fans would want the hot dog vendors who specialize in bacon-wrapped hot dogs to get preferential treatment. I think that's something we need to consider. Because who doesn't love a good bacon-wrapped hot dog? Measure signed into law this past week by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom comes on the heels of other recently enacted state laws meant to shield students in schools and patients at healthcare facilities from the reach of President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement actions. What's so crazy here is that this is like a normal thing. ICE is a normal thing. Every president has deported literally millions of people from the United States. Every president. And then we get here and it's like, oh, the United States is the oppressor. Donald Trump, Orange Man, bad. And you're like, what? We're doing what? We're protesting at the ICE facility? You guys are mental. You are mental. They're doing a job. They're making your community safer. Now, a lot of folks want to say, yeah, but they're just scooping up people. They're just, taking soccer moms and, dads helping out with baseball, just, right off the baseball field and, just deporting them to Nicaragua. And you're like, okay, let me see the story. Okay. So the guy's convicted of bank fraud. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I got you. All right. But anywho, as you were saying, innocent resident, 86th? No, not so much. Not so much. Democrat-led states are adding laws resisting Trump, even as he intensifies his deportation campaign by seeking to deploy National Guard troops. He is really on to something there, isn't he? And I remember during the Chop and Chaz, he basically threatened to send in National Guard into Seattle. And at that time, I thought that there wasn't enough legs on the Chop Chaz. And I also didn't really understand what I was looking at. I didn't really understand what's going on here. You got a bunch of anarchists and Black Lives Matter, a domestic terror organization, have taken over an area of Seattle. Looking back on that, man, I wish Trump would have sent in the National Guard on that one. That would have been some fireworks. That would have been exciting, right? Just, hey, what's going on? Instead, it ended up being, after the second black kid got murdered, right outside the East Precinct of the Seattle Police Department, right after that, you send in a couple hundred of Seattle's finest, and they tend to just, boop, get rid of all the agitators, get rid of all these ridiculous people that think they're going to make a difference by, and what we're dealing with now, by protesting against ICE in inflatable costumes. It's just, you've seen the frogs, you've seen the Cookie Monster. It's absolutely ridiculous. And now they're going to have a No Kings rally. Oh, No Kings rally. Okay. All right. These people are literally mental. You're mental if you're going to go out there and hide a sign that said, No Kings. You just are. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're just, By contrast, some Republican-led states are requiring local and law enforcement agencies to cooperate with ICE agents. Interesting. You mean to cooperate with law and order? That's weird, isn't it? No? Oh, okay. Yeah. The actions of the states really reflect the polarization of the country on this issue. We have seen some states move to cooperate to the greatest extent that they possibly can, doing what they can to try to thwart immigration enforcement in their state, and others doing what they can to thwart. Yeah, you're on one side or the other, right? And if you listen to the other side, if you listen to Democrats, you would literally think that they're plucking children from school and just willy-nilly throwing them across a border because, that's what ICE does. And then you start to look at the individual cases, and again, you're like, okay, so that's why you're deporting him, huh? Yeah, he has he's got some kind of attempted rape charge. Oh, okay. I got it. I see. All right. We were painting him as such, and the reality is something different. All right. Okay. All right. California street vendors typically need permits from cities or counties. Now, who hasn't gone to a ball game or an event or a concert, and then after said ball game, event, or concert, and you're walking your way through this huge crowd, it's really slow going. You got a ways to go to get your car. You're thinking, I'm pretty hungry. It'd be good to have something to eat on my way home. And you look at a street vendor and you think, even though he's probably not licensed, that looks pretty darn good. I might just get one. And I don't typically do that. I've probably done that once or twice in my life because I always think, I could get really sick from that. But it looks so good, doesn't it? I mean, it just looks good. Bacon-wrapped hot dogs. New law prohibits local governments from inquiring about vendors' immigration status, requiring fingerprinting or disclosing personal information such as a name, an address, birth date, social media identifiers, telephone, driver's license, social security numbers, among other things, without a judicial subpoena. Yeah, do we have your subpoena to get the guy you're looking for his name? No, we don't. Okay, yeah, no go. Totally protecting criminal illegals. And if that's the road you want to go down, all right. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you guys are literally mental. The law, which will take place effective January 1st. So if you need to get to California and make a run on the bacon-wrapped hot dogs, you need to figure that out. You've only got how many shoplifting days do you have left till Christmas? We're running out of days, aren't we? Get out there, do some shoplifting. The law, which will take a place January 1st, was prompted by concerns. I have concerns that vendor databases kept by local governments could be accessed by federal immigration agents to target people for detention and deportation. You mean criminal illegals? Them? You might target them because that's what ICE does. They're gonna target them? Okay. All right. Okay. So now they can't. Perfect. All right. Bacon-wrapped hot dogs for all. We're talking about really security for businesses, security for human beings who are criminal illegals, security for people who have gone through so much. Correct, but a lot of people went through a lot legally to get into the United States of America. And ICE is basically defending our borders from the standpoint of people who shouldn't be here. They're gone. That is such it's a tough concept to say, okay, we got all these illegals in our community and we know they've committed crimes, but because of them, they've been here for a long time and they're part of the community, we're just going to let them do their thing. In our case, particularly the hot dog vendors, bacon wrapped. By contrast, there's a bunch of laws I didn't read from Democrat-led states because I just don't care, right? It's annoying to me. By contrast, Republican-led states have passed numerous laws intended to bolster Trump's immigration policies. New laws in Texas, Florida, and Arkansas require sheriffs who run jails to enter into federal agreements for their officers to be trained to help U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. State and local participation in the federal 287G immigration and enforcement program has exploded from 135 agreements in 21 states to more than 1,000 agreements presently in place in 40 states. Let me see. How many states are there in the United States? 50, 52 if you count the other, and a couple of jurisdictions or a couple of, areas. That's the vast majority, isn't it? Vast majority have put those agreements in place. And yet you got California here. Thank God they're covering for the bacon-wrapped hot dogs, though, because, got to have those bacon-wrapped hot dogs. They're critical piece of society. In Washington, new laws allow workers to take paid leave to attend immigration proceedings for themselves or family members and prohibit employers from using immigration status to coerce their employees. My state of Washington is probably one of the greatest virtue signaling states out there. I mean, they go out of their way to do this kind of stuff and then, spend millions and millions of dollars on just nonsense, and then wonder why they have a massive budget shortfall. And then, hey, let's just tax the F out of the constituents so that we can, meet that gap, that budget gap, which is due because we've had Democrat control in the state of Washington for 35 years, something like that. We've had no Republicans in charge. And look at where we're heading. Look at where we've been. Look at where we are now. And look at where we're heading. You got businesses moving out. You got massive taxation. You got the highest gas prices here in the country, oftentimes. You got some of the highest real estate. I was looking at high-priced real estate sales in San Francisco. And there was one recently that I think was at 70-something million. But, we got a property on the market here at 79 million. We had Jeff Bezos close his house at 63 million. There's just as many expensive homes here in Washington State because of all the tech bros and all the folks who've started, these startups that are now massive companies like Amazon, like Microsoft, and the list just goes on and on and on. So West Coast, best coast. But hey, this ridiculousness here, you're just like, what? You're doing what? New Idaho law prohibits immigrants without legal status from receiving some publicly funded health benefits. All right. Including vaccinations. Idaho's a little far right. I mean, they just go right? By so many people have moved there. Several Republican-led states, including Florida, Louisiana, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and Wyoming, have adopted laws invalidating certain driver's licenses issues, commercial driver's licenses. Like Washington issued for that terrible, I think it was Washington that issued that one for that terrible wreck down in Florida where the dude tried to, take his 18-wheeler and do a U-turn in the middle of a 75-mile-an-hour freeway and it shockingly killed some people. Weird. And then you got the whole thing I did a podcast on where no name issued. And I was recently reading an article that was trying to say that no name issued on a commercial driver's license is okay because in some other countries, you only have one name. And I'm like, yeah, but they didn't even put one name on the commercial driver's license. They just didn't put one. No name given was the name. No name given was literally what was put on there. And then you got some jackass killing people driving an 18-wheeler. Not a shocker, right? Not a shocker. California lawmakers attempted to enhance tuition benefits for immigration with a first-of-its-kind measure allowing community college students who get deported or voluntarily leave the U.S. to continue receiving in-state tuition while taking online courses from afar. Just absolutely bending over backwards for some nonsense that shouldn't be paid for. Should not be paid for. Period. That's that divide, right? I see it as black and white. No, we don't do that. Unless you're bacon-wrapped hot dog vendors. And then, okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the fun part of this podcast, right? Bacon-wrapped hot dogs. I'm getting this for an AI overview because we all know that everything that the interweb tells us, specifically AI-driven, is accurate. Bacon-wrapped hot dogs, also known as danger dogs. Oh, I love that. Danger dogs. Give me a danger dog. I want to live dangerously today. Or LA street dogs. Popular street food with Mexican roots. Traditionally grilled, served on a bun, toppings, grilled onions, mayonnaise, jalapenos. Here we go. They're called Sonoran dogs because they're from the Sonoran region of Mexico. All right, interesting. Found their way into major U.S. cities like San Diego, San Fran, and L.A. All right, in L.A., you get them outside all the time. Danger dog comes from the often unlicensed street vendors who sell them, though this has not deterred fans. It deters me. Got to be honest, it deters me. Could my stomach take it? Yeah, probably. Do I want to put it through that? I'm probably going to wait to make a snack at home, right? Because I always think of how well did that vendor or unlicensed vendor clean his cart? How many people have touched it? What's going on there? Do I want to get COVID again? No, not really. Not really. Do I just want to get sick in general? No. But man, street food always looks so good, doesn't it? All right, let's move on. Let's watch this bacon-wrapped hot dog vendor video. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. And then you got to stick toothpicks through the end. Keep that bacon. He's doing 2 at a time. Smart. Throw some onions, some stuff down, grill that. Oh, yeah. Is that Parmesan? Is that just cheese? I need to know, right? Got the buns there? Oh, yeah.
Southern California, so please trust me. This isn't just any hot dog. This is California street food royalty. Hot dogs are a summer classic, but bacon-wrapped hot dogs are just straight up legendary. I grew up eating them loaded. They usually come with peppers and onions. I personally love adding fresh onions, juicy tomato, mustard, ketchup, even sour cream, and we can't forget about that grilled serrano and jalapeno. They're an LA signature. Summer and hot dogs go hand in hand, but bacon-wrapped hot dogs are a whole other level. So good. I'm from Southern California, so please.
I couldn't resist. I had to do that. I had to just throw in a couple of bacon-wrapped hot dogs because it's culture, right? It's like, all right, those folks probably aren't legal. They're out there hustling, but you still got law and order, right? Just because they're out hustling doesn't mean that, and just because they're making a really mean bacon-wrapped hot dog, that, they're allowed to have a different set of laws apply to them. It's not how the game works. But street food, always sounds so delicious, looks delicious, smells delicious. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with friends and family, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks again. Bye for now.